You know, it's almost like your birthday with a package from China, so let's go. Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in, because in this video it's time to take a close look at this plug and play game stick. For the people who have no idea what's going on over here, this is basically a game stick that can plug into the HDMI port, get two controllers, and you can play thousands of games. But when it comes to these game sticks, there are a lot of differences. First of all, this is the X2 Plus edition. So what's plus about it? I have no idea. That's what we're going to find out today. I really love that when you're going to put this on the box. Professional game chip. But nevertheless, this thing comes with Emulation 4.3. So I'm really curious how this will actually work. Connect TV and the double rocker. So Emulation is basically an Android box, and that is what these things are. They're just Android boxes added with, or already said, like completely configured with new kinds of, let's say, software. You can just get yourself a certain supported, let's say, game stick or an Android box or whatever, download the Emulation piece of software, and that's it. But the Game Stick Lite is just your all-in-one solution. This thing looks really nice, and I mean, particularly when it comes to the, let's say, the curves and the way how they present this. But another thing, what I find very convenient, that it is very slim down. When you're having different products I've reviewed, they are like very thick and need an extension HDMI cord to actually get this thing to plug in your television. At the back, we're going to get one USB port, and with the dongle that is in here, you're just going to plug this thing and configure it with two wireless controllers, or everything is pre-configured. Over here they're going to get a micro USB cable to USB for powering on, because if you're going to plug it into your HDMI port, it doesn't work. And then we're going to get ourselves the micro SD card, and they are using very cheap brands, but let's double check it to make sure. And yep, they're using a very cheap brand like always, 128GB, but take consideration, back up these things please, because if they get corrupted and they just going to be automatically out of nothing. Oh, they need to stop using this cheap crap, you know, get a real SanDisk or Samsung. Yep, that costs money. But underneath there we're going to get the two controllers. Oh, that is a surprise. So what I mean with a surprise, so normally in my videos I'm always saying, hey, you need to get yourself sometimes a 5V, because you cannot always get the 5V from every television when using the USB cable. This one goes to the USB stick or the HDMI stick, another one to your television. Yeah, and it seems to be that you're going to get yourself a 5V charger, and a very strange one to be honest. But hey, they're giving you one for free, or at least you're going to get one in the kit you're paying for. But here we're going to get a very short extension cord, if you can plug it into your television. And of course the toilet paper manual. But here we're going to absolutely one piece of, let's say, glossy toilet paper. Don't use toilet paper, please don't do that, because you're going to get paper cuts in your butt. Okay, but in let's see which one is the English one. Okay, supported simulators. So it gives you like a quick overview what you actually can play. So they also, this is the moment they're saying, hey, we can play PlayStation Portable. I can tell you already, that's not going to be working. We do have Saturn, so I'm really curious, but these, like say, cheaper devices run on very old specs. So a lot of systems will not run, and I'm guessing N64, PlayStation Portable. Maybe Dreamcast can be a hit or miss, but it gives you an explanation how everything works, how to get back to the main menu and stuff like that. So if any problems, yeah, I would say try the manual, but there's not a lot of information in there. And of course the wireless controllers, and these things, oh boy, this is absolutely this is a nightmare. And the reason why, because these are like the cheap ones. And oh man, the joystick feel absolutely horrible. There is almost no rubber on here. It's almost like plastic fantastic. It feels absolutely horrible. And that's the thing, and absolutely the overall problem with these things. To get them open also, that's not a problem. But in there, we're going to get ourselves the battery compartment. How can you open this thing? There we go. Just use the cap of the game stick. And then we're going to get two AAA batteries that we need to put in. And here we're having the on and off switch that I'm always freaking to turn off. It automatically shuts down sometimes some of the controllers, so to save a little bit of battery. But I can tell you, man, these things, you're not going to be very happy with these. But the question remains, can we also use different ones? There we're going to get the problem. We're only having one USB port. Not a big of a deal, but which controllers are supported, and we need to use at least an USB hub. I'm always fighting with these freaking things. But everything has been configured like this. Here you can see everything has been plugged into the television. I'm not using a 5V. Just let's see what happens. Okay, so the first attempt I just wanted to see what happens when we're going to plug it in to my USB port. I don't have always a problem with that, but you can see the screen just stays blank. Oh, there we go. So after a minute or so, we're going to get ourselves a boot up sequence. Alright, starting up, and let's see if it's going to be booting up at all. But let's take a close look at the menu itself. So we do have a lot of stuff that we can play with this. It's way more extended when you're looking at some other, let's say, cheap dongles you can pick up from AliExpress. And I just wanted to check out some couple of systems. Most of the time, two-dimensional stuff will run just fine. It's mainly where I want to focus on when it comes to more like the system like PlayStation Portable, Atomic Wave, and 64, PlayStation, stuff like that. What you see is what you're going to get. That is a fact, simply because these, let's say, game sticks they're using are very low powered, so you cannot extend it with new emulators. At the bottom row, we're going to get ourselves a couple of quick keys. For example, favorite with X and Y for searching. Pressing select and start in a game will bring us back to the main menu. But when it comes to favorites, but especially the search function, that's quite interesting. So it's kind of cool that we're having a search function when you're just pressing, for example, in the main menu. But let's test it out, because, oh boy, some of them are pretty damn bad. So let's check out Sonic games. Let's put in Sonic just to see what happens. And it seems to be that it actually works pretty good. Another feature I really like, and that is that when you're looking at the main menu, or the main menu, the menu of the game list of whatsoever, you can see that it actually has an even indication what kind of platform it is. But let's start off with some Sonic from the Mega Drive. But when it comes to this game stick and really old school stuff, think about the 80s, 90s, it works just fine. All the effects are here when it comes to audio and the sound effects. Okay, so let's check out. We can make a quick save over here. There we go. Let's go to the load. And it works pretty damn well. Next up, let's jump into Sega Dreamcast with some Dead Alive. Ooh. And it all runs through a RetroArch. This time we're also going to get ourselves a Flycast, not a Red Dream emulator, that I personally really like. You can hear with the audio that its status is not running on full speed. It is playable, don't get me wrong. But the unfortunate thing is with these devices, like it's a fixed system, so it's easy plug and play, but there is no way of messing with the emulator if you want to tune it or mess around with the settings to get a slightly better overall experience. Another, let's say, negative part to this product is that sometimes the loading times, not even like the intro, but also the loading times to a certain game can be like absolutely long. I've been clicking on a Sega Naomi game, but it's just stuck, or it just takes forever to load a game, where we don't have this issue when it comes to some consoles. Let's take a close look at Sega Naomi, just to see actually how it runs. It will be in two-dimensional games, so it is less demanding. And let's see if we're going to get an overall better performance than we did with Dead or Alive, because that was not great in my opinion. Let's see, also we're going to get some glitching on the back. Wow, I can actually do a move with this D-pad. But so far, so good. Next up I wanted to try some DS, but well, I don't like it that you mess around with the screens all the time. If you listen to it, it doesn't go, it's not going to be any pleasant experience gaming. Okay, so next up, let's take a close look at some N64. Take a note that's going to be a hit or miss with these systems. Some games will run great, some will run absolutely horrible. I did hear some crackling noise in the audio, but beside that it seems to be running just fine. And that's what I actually mean. If you're going to get a GoldenEye or an F-Zero X, you're going to get most of the time quite overall mixed performance with those games. Another system that actually runs pretty good on this device is PlayStation 1. They're still running an original resolution, so where like some of the mini PCs can upscale it to like crazy resolution when it's going to be looking great. Here we're going to get ourselves just basic resolution. It doesn't look that bad depending on the size of your television, but it works plug and play. I don't notice any input lag of the controller, so that is great. But I just wanted to show you God of War on this plug and play stick. I completely don't understand why they keep like advertising this, simply because it doesn't run that great. Like, you don't want to play this with 9 FPS. It's absolutely horrible. If you wonder, if you're going back to the settings itself, yep, everything has been set to a certain point to run it optimized. So everything, frame skip, everything crazy things have been implemented to get and speed up. There is no way, in my opinion, to get a bad result. And if it is, maybe 2 frames per second. But I want to give it a second try and show you that there actually are games that are playable.
Get ready for the next battle.
But they will struggle big time. Alright, let's get into the gameplay and I will show you what I mean. Where God of War was unplayable, this does have slightly better overall performance. It runs on 55 FPS. I do wonder one thing. So this thing doesn't have frame skip enabled, so we can even mess around with it over here. Let's see if the other ones, yeah, the speed up has been implemented. So what you can do, maybe, if you're saying I want to get a little bit better, put this on 1 and continue the game. We'll have frame skip on, so we're having 30 FPS, but you can see we do have way better overall experience now. But you need to mess around with every single game yourself. What's so plus about this thing? I have no idea. I think it's, in my opinion, just a marketing way to sell the same product all over again. Oh wait, maybe it's the power supply you're getting now. Maybe that's the plus thing. But the controller was another big surprise, where these things feel really cheap. The D-pad is actually pretty good to do some fighting games or to play some games and get some moves out. But again, they feel cheap, but they do have like a very nice range and I don't feel any input lag whatsoever. The GameStick Lite is a quite interesting piece of tech. You just plug it into your television with some USB 5V juice and you can ready to play thousands of games all the way up to PlayStation 1 without any hassle. Let me know in the comments what you think of a device like this. Thank you all for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell, and it will be great to see you in the next video.